Hello, guys. Thanks for popping on today. I wanted to hop on here and talk to you guys today about how to increase your bookings and start getting some regular students because we all want some regulars that we get to watch grow and see every week on our schedule and make connections with because what's better than that? So I've come up, of course, being a teacher, I've come up with an acronym, um, how to mess with your students and increase your bookings. So I'm just going to go through that today and talk to you a little bit about what each letter stands for and how that can help you get some of your own regulars. These are all things that I've tried in the online classroom that I've been successful with. So, without further ado, how to mess with your students and increase your bookings with some regulars. So we're going to start with M. M stands for movement, right? Because who doesn't love to move around, you guys? There's just so much you can do with that. Kids, right? They're kids. They're sitting in front of your screen for 25 minutes, and some of them are really little. Some of them are really young. So you're sitting with like a 4-year-old sometimes, and I happen to have one of those in my house right now, and I can tell you that he would not be able to sit in front of a computer screen for 25 minutes without getting a little bit antsy. So if we can work some movement into our lessons, it's just all the better for everyone. And I enjoy it too. I like getting up out of my seat and moving around and being fun and silly. So here's a few ways you can do that. The first way, and this is probably a little bit more for younger students, I get a ton of young students, so I use this a lot, is by using songs. It's so funny, I just had one of my regulars today, and she is so into singing and dancing, and she started singing If You're Happy and You Know It to me. I always ask her today, how are you? Are you happy? And she said, yes, I'm happy. And she started singing If You're Happy and You Know It. So what did we do? We started singing If You're Happy and You Know It. And we stood up and we clapped our hands and we stamped our feet. And it was so perfect. It's like she knew. So our target today, our target vocabulary was tap your leg. So I stood up and we started singing, If You're Happy and You Know It, tap your leg, tap, tap. And she got so into it, you guys. And when she first became she became a regular of mine and started rebooking me, her mom actually left feedback and said, my daughter so enjoyed her lesson with you. You were up moving around. I've gotten that in feedback several times that parents really like that I move. So it's a huge thing. And there's other ways to do it too. I had a lesson with an older student. So you're probably like, I could do that with the young kids, but not really the older kids. Well, there's different ways you can do it. So I had a lesson with an older boy. I think he was 9. And it was a level 1 lesson, and we were talking about furniture in our homes. And so I think the target sentence was, I have a blank in my house. So I have a couch in my house. I have a table in my house. So when we got to that target sentence, instead of modeling and being like, I have a sofa in my house, I unplugged my laptop, lifted it up, and we walked around my house. And I showed him, I have a table in my house. And you know what he did? He picked up his laptop and he gave me a tour of his house. And his smile went from to, as we walked around his house, he was so excited to share with me. I mean, he showed me lots of other things too. He showed me his drums and I got a little concert, and he showed me his grandfather and his brother. But he was up and he was moving and we were having fun, and he was using that target sentence the whole time. I have a drum set in my house. I have my grandfather in my house. So we were still sticking with our objectives, but now he was having so much fun. We were connecting and learning about each other. It was awesome. And there's other ways you can do it too. You can sometimes, you'll notice things in their house where they're sitting that you can incorporate into the lesson, like, I see red. I see red. Red ball behind you. And then they're turning around, they're picking up, they're moving. So there's lots of ways you can incorporate movement into your lessons on every single level. So that's my M. So next we're going to move to E. And my E is extend, right? So this is, I think, one of the biggest things parents want to see you doing with their kids is extend. And parents are looking for that, and that's who, you're of course wanting to connect with and have fun with your student and watch them grow and learn. But there's also 99% of the time a parent or somebody in their family sitting right next to them. And they also want to see certain things during your lesson. I mean, I know if my child was taking language lessons online, I'd be right there and I'd want to see certain things from the teacher. And extension is definitely one of them. They want to hear their child speaking as much English as possible. So you want to try and extend as much as you can within those lessons, and that will gear parents towards rebooking you. So there's so many ways you can extend. Oh my goodness. They are built right into the slides. gogokid's really, really good about that. So, you might be working on colors and your target colors might be red and blue, but in the slides, gogokid has also built in yellow and green and orange. And you don't just have to do red and blue. You can circle something yellow on the slides and go, oh, what color? It is yellow. And now you're giving them another color. And then circle something green. Why not? Oh, green. Good job. So now you're just extending, you're giving them more. And it doesn't have to be just something within that lesson either. You might notice something else of interest in the slides that you want to circle and show. Like sometimes there might be a dog there. Look, dog. Ruff, ruff, ruff. You like dogs? Dog. There's so many ways to extend. There's also, I almost always pull up the interactive whiteboard, especially if I finish early. So if you don't know what the interactive whiteboard is or how to use it on the gogokid lessons, feel free to email me. I'll drop my email address in the description below, and I can go into a little bit more depth about it with you. But there is an interactive whiteboard, and it's always available for any lesson. And you just click a little button and pull it right up. And at the end of lessons, I almost always will go to that whiteboard. And even throughout lessons, if I see like an opportunity to talk about something else, I'll pull it up and we'll draw on it. We'll draw shapes, we'll draw colors, we'll write, we'll do numbers. There are so many ways to extend on that whiteboard. And the great thing about it is it's not static. So like it's not just on my end, right? If I use this whiteboard, well, this is just me. But the interactive whiteboard, the student can draw on too. So that's what's really nice. And the students get really into that. And the possibilities are endless. It's a blank slate. You can extend in whatever ways you want on a whiteboard, right? You can draw whatever you want. You can create whatever you want. You can make any prop you want. So you can extend in just an infinite amount of ways by using that whiteboard. So that's my E is extension. So the first S in mess is silly. Be silly. And I know sometimes it feels really goofy, especially when you're first beginning, but the sillier you are and the goofier you feel, the more fun your student is having. So be silly with it. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff I do to be silly, right? Like I have like these crazy headbands that I'll throw on. I'll pull up when I'm doing body parts, I might pull out Mr. Incredible and I'll be really goofy with it. Strong, Mr. Incredible, Miss Incredible. And we'll just laugh and have fun. If you are a digital somebody who uses digital props like Manicam, there's a lot you can do with that too. So you can play with the stars. Where is star? Where is star? Shoulder. So there's lots of cool stuff you can do. And if the child is laughing and you're laughing, you're having fun, the child is having fun, they're going to want to read with you. There's just so many things you can do to be silly. Sometimes I'll like pretend like this is coming to get me. We'll do explosions. When I give a star, I'll always put this out in front of them. Like, just be silly, have fun. I had a student today. She's really into dinosaurs, right? Super into dinosaurs. So I happened to be using Google Slides. For this particular lesson, I was using ManyCam. I'm going to show you what I did. And if you don't have Google Slides, I'll show you a different way. You could have gotten really silly with dinosaurs. But I always try and incorporate dinosaurs into our lessons somehow. So today, I pulled up my Google slide. I had it all set up before our lesson, so it was ready to go. And this was her reward. And I said, pick a number every time I was rewarding her, right? And so let's say she picked number 1. Well, it had to do, oh my goodness, it was a silly dinosaur slide. Dinosaur is riding a bike. And she was just laughing and laughing every time we picked one of these, right? So very silly. I would be getting big laughs from her. And then she started whipping out her dinosaurs. So fun. Just so fun. But if you don't have digital props, right? So I also always have a backup because you never know with technology. I've whipped this out before. So there's so much you can do to be silly, right? Use the screen, use your body, use your movement, get closer, get farther away to be loud and close to be quiet. Another one I'll do a lot is when I'm teaching a brand new word, I'll always introduce it the first time the regular way. So arm. And then I'll go, shh, arm. Good job. And then this is the one that always gets somebody go, and then they scream and they laugh and they have fun. So, read the child, read what you think they'll be into. And the more you get to know them, the more you connect with them, the more you can pull what you think they will find silly into your lessons. So my last S in mess is support system. This one I think is really key. So, like I said before, most of the time, almost always, you're going to have an adult sitting right there next to the child. And they're so cute because they are always like try and hide themselves, but they're there because you can hear them talking to their child throughout the whole lesson, telling them what to say, what to do. Not as much with the older kids, but definitely with the younger and still with the older. They just don't speak as much with the older kids, I find. But you have this whole other person that the child is already super connected to, right? Who's very important to that child that you can pull in and use. And the more that you use things and people that are special to this child, the more you're going to connect. So I try to always pull in somebody from their support system into the lesson. And there's a few ways you can do that. So if you're working on, let's say, good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Anna. Yes. Where's Mom? Good morning, Mom. And then they say good morning to Mom and they hug Mom. Or when I'm doing body parts a lot of times, I'll say, hand. Teacher's hand. Where's your hand? Good job. Hand. Where's Dad's hand? And you'll see like this random hand just shoot into the shot. Dad's hand. High five, Dad. There's a lot you can do. So you pull in those people that are special to them, and now the child is having fun, and the parent is also having fun and connecting with you. So that's a great way to just make another connection with the child, and a great way to pull that parent in or that grandparent in, and it's just another incentive to rebook you because now you've made another connection. It doesn't have to be a parent or a caregiver. So another way to tap into their support system is an item that's really special to them. So I had this one lesson, and it was with a little girl, so sweet, so much fun, but she had a lot of trouble focusing. And I noticed all these stuffed animals around her. So I asked her about them. I was like, who is that? And I think I picked up one of my stuffed animals, and I was like, my bear. Who is that? And I pointed to one of hers, and she introduced me to all of her stuffed animals that she had around her. I think she had 4 or 5. She told me all of their names. And we were working on food. I think we were working on noodles and rice. And I had been struggling to get her to, to repeat the target sentences. It was, I want noodles, I want rice. So one of her stuffed animals was named Potato. And I said, oh, what does Potato want to eat? And then Potato answered me, Potato wants noodles. And from then on, I just used a different stuffed animal every time and asked a different stuffed animal using the names she had told me what they wanted to eat. And every single time she answered via the stuffed animal. So there's so many ways you can tap into a support system. So clearly those animals were super special to her. And I just pulled them in, right? And I got so much more language out of her. And after that, her mother rebooked me. It was after that lesson, I'll never forget. So there are so many ways to increase your bookings, and these are just a few suggestions to help you to do that. Suggestions that I find that I've had success with. So just to recap, how to mess with your students. So M, movement. Use movement in your lessons, right? Get up moving. Songs, take a walk, use your body. E is for extend, so try and go beyond the lesson as much as you can. Use that whiteboard, look within the gogokid slides. Use what's around that child. And the first S is for silly. Be silly, play, have fun, be goofy. The sillier you feel, the more fun that child is having. It's a good rule of thumb. And the second S is to tap into their support system. Pull in a parent, pull in a sibling, pull in a grandparent, pull in a stuffed animal, whoever or whatever is special to them. Use that to your advantage. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a like. Feel free to subscribe. And I will see you very soon. Happy teaching. Thanks for popping in. And if you have any questions about anything I mentioned, feel free to email me at my email address below in the description. Okay, bye.